Hey guys, it's Key here from Kegland. Just want to do a really quick video on the Fermentasaurus 2. I know a lot of you guys have been asking us questions and sort of got a bit of wind about the fact that there's a new model which is going to be coming out, hopefully at the end of this year. And yeah, the Fermentasaurus 1s, I guess, have been a very successful product both in Australia and worldwide. And really it's a product which is sold really well over in the States, Australia, Europe, and many other countries as well. I guess it's the Fermentasaurus 1 when it came out. It was the first brewery of its type, and it was a really exciting product which we brought into the marketplace. It was a product which I guess enabled a lot of home brewers to get less oxygen exposure. It simplified the brewing process, being able to clarify all in one vessel. It made really clean beers which you could ferment under pressure. I mean, it enabled people to make lagers, you know, in 10 days, for instance. And essentially, it gave the brewers a lot of control over the process, enabled them to see the fermenting process because it was a perfectly clear container, pressure vessel. So there was all these awesome advantages about the Fermentasaurus 1, but there was also some things which we felt could be improved on, and that's really why you know, we started and we had been working on the Fermentasaurus 2 for some time now. So this little quick video, I'm just going to go into some of the detail and hopefully answer some of the questions that you know, have been thrown at us over the last sort of few months.
Okay, so here's an image of the Fermentasaurus 1. Yeah, this particular type of fermenter, to be honest with you, originally this main body of the fermenter, this was actually designed to be a keg, and we ended up using tooling from a keg for a blow molded one-way beer keg, and then we ended up reusing it. So it wasn't really a purpose-built fermenter, and you might actually notice that there was quite a lot of spare plastic down the bottom of the cone here, and I guess the material distribution wasn't fantastic in that respect because we reused a preform which was actually designed for a keg. There was some parts of this process which we felt we could improve. I know a lot of people with the Fermentasaurus 1s, they had some issues with cleaning sometimes. Although the inside wall of the Fermentasaurus is very smooth, sometimes people felt that it was necessary to get inside and clean the walls. And because of the small opening at the top here, sometimes it's tricky to do that. So if you reached your hand in the top here, most people could only probably get their fingers down to about this level. So if you had some krausen or something a little bit lower, that could sometimes be an issue as well. That was one change we wanted to make. Secondly, the other thing is down at the bottom, the opening at the bottom here where the dump valve was also fairly small. So you'll notice we used a 1.5 inch triclover basically on the bottom there. And look, that was okay, and definitely some conical fermenters, even in stainless steel, are made with a 1.5 inch triclover. But because people were using these often for dry hopping and using lots of hops, sometimes what you would do is add in the hops either through the top or even through the bottom here, and then they would sort of get clogged in this area, either here or sometimes get clogged, you know, down here. But anyway, that also caused some issues, and that was something which we felt you know, we could really improve on the Fermentasaurus 2 as well. Another thing is actually some people found the stands, these long stainless steel legs, found them to be a little bit on the wobbly side, so that was something we also felt like we could improve as well. And then lastly, yeah, with regards to this collection bottle, it was a fairly basic collection bottle. You know, the threads, we tried to make it compatible with a SodaStream bottle so you could interchange the two and use a couple different sizes, I suppose, of collection bottle. But really the neck on the collection bottle was a bit on the small side, and really the collection bottle needed another port so you could purge gas out of there more effectively, even once you had the bottle connected to the bottom of the dump valve. So that's something also that yeah, we wanted to address. So although the Fermentasaurus 1 was a fantastic fermenter and a lot of people love using it and still use it, yeah, we did feel like there was some areas where we could improve. The other thing was, yeah, with the total volume, the Fermentasaurus 1s, as you would know, these were 35 litres, and there's just so many images which we saw online of people putting a single batch in here, which only sort of filled up to sort of about this level, meaning you had a very large amount of headspace here. So it's quite a lot of headspace, and really ideally, although this is a completely closed unit, and you know, you can brew without getting oxygen in, or very little oxygen in, having a lot of headspace is not ideal if you, for instance, need to take the the lid off, because it means that you then get oxygen in, and having a large headspace, very hard to purge that large space out properly. So yeah, we felt it was necessary to address that, and then maybe make a couple different sizes of Fermentasaurus. So the smaller ones for people doing a single batch, and larger ones people doing a double batch. So anyway, let me put this image aside, and I'll show you what we've been working on. Okay, so this is the new Fermentasaurus 2. Well, both of these are actually. On the left-hand side of the screen here, this is the 27-litre model. And then also we'll have a larger 50-litre model. As you can see between the two models, actually the only real difference is this middle section is longer on the 50-litre. So yeah, they use all the same componentry basically. So look, I think for the sake of this video, I'm just going to pack up this Fermentasaurus 2 in the 27-litre, and I'll just show this 50-litre model, because that's probably all you really need to look at. And let me just actually get on this cross-section here. I'll just do that. Yeah, so when you look at this unit, you're going to see quite a few differences straight away. Firstly, the lid opening. It was something which we really wanted to improve. We wanted to make it a lot easier for people to get inside and wash, and also sometimes to get inside and even help fit the dump valve here, or any servicing or cleaning or anything like that. We really wanted to make the lid large enough that you get your arm in, and we felt like a diameter which would be more suitable would be 120 mil. So we've had to actually re-engineer the entire lid and closure here and the way it seals, in order for us to be able to get this large diameter opening hold enough pressure. So that's something that yeah, we've sort of been spending quite a lot of time getting the engineering around this large opening. As you get higher, larger and larger in the opening size for the lids, it gets harder and harder to make them hold you know, large amounts of pressure, and that's something that we had to do. So yeah, the new ones, yeah, that's 100. So this blue bit here, which is the inside diameter, that's now 120 mil on the Fermentasaurus 2. The other thing we changed on the lid is we've put a few more posts. Actually, you can't really see it because I've actually done this cross section here, but yeah, the standard lid comes with this airlock, the non-pressure lid, I guess. And then we've also got the stainless steel posts, but we also have another port which is on the lid, which is just chopped off on the other side of the lid here. But that actually is so we can fit a thermowell. And that's something we got a lot of people requesting that they wanted, because the Fermentasaurus 1, some people felt like they really wanted to get the probe right down and get the core temperature of the liquid. And you know, some people thought, oh, maybe I'll drill a hole in the side wall or the bottom of the cone here and fit a thermowell to one of these parts of the fermenter. That way I could stick the probe right in and get a core temperature of the inside of the fermenter. In many cases, I felt that that wasn't really necessary, and actually just taping the probe on the outside wall would be fine. However, for customers who really wanted to get a very accurate core temperature, you know, it's hard to beat a good thermowell, I guess. Yeah, but when you start drilling these side walls of the PET plastic, it could really affect the integrity of the plastic and then reduce the burst pressure. So that was something that we always were kind of reluctant for people to start drilling walls in the Fermentasaurus. So yeah, with the Fermentasaurus 2, we've now got an option where we'll have an add-on kit, which is to fit a thermowell to the lid, and it'll be quite a long thermowell. So it comes in from the lid, comes all the way down. Yeah, I think the two sizes of the new Fermentasaurus 2 are really much more suitable as well. Having a 50 litre, which can handle what most people would call a double batch, and also having that smaller 30 or 27 litre size, you know, really is a much better size for people doing single and double batches. Yeah, going down to the bottom of the fermenter, you can see with the bottom opening also we've actually changed as well. I might just take it off this cross section here. The bottom dump valve here, we've also increased the size of that. We were getting a lot of people with the Fermentasaurus 1 starting to get blockages down the bottom of the cone here, and that was always a bit of an issue because we had some people who really were adding quite a lot of hops, a lot more hops than we actually anticipated when we first designed the Fermentasaurus 1, and they were adding these high hop loads in there and then it clogging up the dump valve, and once you clogged it up, it actually was pretty tricky to unclog it. So that was also a bit of a pain with the Fermentasaurus 1, and I think we've kind of resolved that with this very large opening. It's like a this diameter here, where I've got the mouse right at the moment, that's about 70 millimeters. Basically, it's a 3-inch butterfly valve, so it's really quite large, even larger than a lot of the stainless steel dump valves that you'll see which aren't even able to hold as much pressure. So yeah, that's a pretty big change. And similarly, the actual collection container at the bottom here also has quite a large diameter as well, so it can accept large amounts of solid materials falling down through the valve. So I think that's sort of a nice and required change. The other thing is we've changed the handle on the butterfly valve, and some people, who use the Fermentasaurus 1 would probably, work out the reason why we needed to do that, because the Fermentasaurus 1 sometimes it was a bit tricky to get the handle perfectly horizontal. And if you know anything about these butterfly valves, butterfly valves are fantastic. I mean, they're definitely the most sanitary type of valve, which is why people use them in a lot of fermenters, and a lot of commercial fermenters will use the butterfly valves. But the problem with butterfly valves is making sure they're perfectly horizontal, because if they're not quite horizontal, you don't get even seal compression around the butterfly valve. And then you end up with, potential for it to leak around the corners. And definitely with the old Fermentasaurus 1, some people who turned off the valve or thought they'd turned it off, the valve handle wasn't quite perfectly straight, and then they wouldn't actually be able to seal it, or they might have some leaky issues. But now with this very large ratcheting type handle, which gives back some sort of feedback as you turn the handle, you can sort of put it 90 degrees, you can feel that it's at 90 degrees, and then you can also see that with the length of the handle being much longer, you can actually sort of eyeball it and see that it is actually perfectly horizontal as well. So I think that is a nice change as well. The stand itself, as you can see, the previous stand had half as many of these vertical uprights, making it a little bit more wobbly. And because we're using this same stand on the 27 litre and the 50 litre especially, we had to make sure that the stand was able to hold that very large payload of this 50 litre conical fermenter. So that's something that we've done with the Fermentasaurus 2. You'll notice with the stand also, the way that the uprights are structured, it forms a triangular pattern, this triangular pattern gives the stand a lot more rigidity. So that's something we also wanted to make sure it was the case. So when you move it sideways or whatever, it doesn't wobble. Yes, it's something's been improved. With regards to collection container as well, it's not shown on this diagram, but this is the standard collection container which comes with the vessel. But we'll have an optional add-on extra, which is another collection container which has a little ball lock post which you can purge air out of. Because some people felt like with the collection container, especially now that we're making these collection containers larger, so these ones will be 700 ml as opposed to the half a litre ones which we had on the Fermentasaurus 1. But these 700 ml collection containers, they have a reasonable amount of oxygen in the headspace. Let's say if you're using this to dose some hops into the fermenter body, then this collection container here, if you only got let's say 50 or 100 grams of hops, you got virtually more than half a litre worth of headspace. And when you open this valve, then you could push all that oxygen up, or generally it would go up into the body of the fermenter. And as you would know, oxygen is beer's worst enemy. Basically, it's something which really degrades beer quality, and it's really something you want to purge out of anything you're putting into your fermenter. So that was something we felt it was necessary for us to make a collection container with an easy way for us to purge oxygen out of there with some CO2 gas or something like that, for instance. So yeah, that's another change that we've made. Lastly, with regards to the body of the fermenter, we did use a high IV, or basically a very long chain PET plastic, which was a specific grade that we had, and it was a really good grade for making pressure vessels. But there was a couple problems with it. It was easy to scratch, I guess, and then the other thing is it couldn't handle high temperatures. So you might find with the Fermentasaurus 1s, if you ever actually put boiling water in there, and please don't put boiling water. The boiling water will destroy them. It's in the instructions, don't do it. But we still, from time to time, we would see some people put boiling water or hot wort directly into the Fermentasaurus 1, and it would start to melt the body. But with the Fermentasaurus 2s, we've started actually playing around with a new type of plastic. And the new type of plastic it's similar to PET. It is a type of polyester, but it's a new type of resin, and we haven't quite fully qualified it and worked out all the glitches with it. But hopefully by the end of this year, we'll be releasing the new Fermentasaurus 2 with this new resin type. So the whole body of the of the Fermentasaurus 2 will be made out of this new resin, which will be able to take 100 degrees, so basically boiling liquid. So that means, and you probably think, oh, that's not necessary. Why would I need to take the fermenter to take boiling liquid? But really, the advantages of it are significant. If we can put boiling hot liquid into the fermenter, for sanitary reasons, it's kind of nice because you heat sanitize everything. But it also can cut many hours off your brew day if you can hot fill into the fermenter. And then chill in the fermenter. And then you can use the conical shape to dump out, for instance, your hot break and stuff like that, and dump it into the collection container. It can be quite useful to actually have a conical fermenter, which is see-through and completely clear, and also can handle the temperature as well. So that's kind of exciting. But anyway, look, that pretty much covers the Fermentasaurus 2. I hope I've covered most of the upgrades. If you've got any other questions, don't hesitate to contact us. Definitely, don't hesitate to contact us. Sign up to our Facebook group, and we're happy to put some more information up about the Fermentasaurus 2 at the end of the year. Anyway, this is the new mill we've got. Actually, I might do a video on this probably sometime next week. This is a really cool mill with integrated motor. So that's another really exciting product we've got on the horizon, but we'll talk about that next time.
Anyway, thanks for that, guys. If you need to know any more information, just drop us an email or jump on our Facebook page, join that, and definitely subscribe to our YouTube video channel, because any of the new stuff we bring out, it always goes onto our YouTube channel as one of the first places. So if you want to hear what's going on, definitely click subscribe down the bottom of the screen. Cheers, guys. Bye.